learning, etc. Let's get started with serialization in Java. Let's get started with the two threads, which is the bone of after the synchronized block. That block can be accessed by multiple threads at the same time, but this code will only be accessible to one thread at a time. There will never be a concurrent access to the synchronized block. That's the power of synchronized block, and it will work the exact same way. So to show you, if I run this particular program, I still get the output in the same streamlined way, where first the multiples of 2 get printed, and then the multiples of 3 get printed. So that's how you can actually use synchronized methods or synchronized block to make sure blocks. Let's get started with auto boxing and unboxing in Java. So if you remember, in the very first sessions, I talked about the primitive data types, and then later on, we talked about the objects. For example, we had the int
Let's talk about wrapper classes. Now we have talked about primitive variables, right? Example, if you want to store a number like 5, of course you will store that in an int variable, or maybe short, maybe byte, that's your choice. If you want to work with a value which is point values, let's say 6.5 or something like that, you will be using double or float. And then if you want to store a character, you will use a char, right? So Java does provide you primitive data types, and that's what makes Java 99.99% object oriented. That's why Java is not purely object oriented. Because if when you talk about a language like object oriented programming language, it means that everything should be object. But that's not the case with Java. Java says, okay, we are still going to work with something which is not extending object. As we know, every class in Java extends object class, but not the primitive values. If I talk about int, float, they are primitive types. They are not object types, right? It's good because it helps Java to improve the performance because it directly works with the fixed site value, right? So it is not saved in a heap memory as an object, which will be time consuming. So what it says is, if you want to store a value, you can do that directly in primitive. But then there are certain features or there are certain frameworks in Java which only works with objects. Example, let's say in future we're going to talk about collection framework. In collection, if you want to store value,